I know it, you know it, and everybody knows that the cinematic filming look is great. It adds a layer of nostalgia and timeless to your editing that really helps you to tell the story in a different way. I recently posted a video on YouTube that you can watch in here using this resource. It's fair to say that cinematic filmic look is not only dependable on one thing, but rather in several facts. Things like framing, camera movements, music, location, and of course the editing. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through my own process on the cinematic filmic look editing on Davinci Resolve without using any external plugins. And if you stay until the end, I'm gonna show you a trick that may save you a lot of hours on your editing. So let's jump in. So for this tutorial, we're gonna be using this clip that I recorded a couple of weeks ago with my wife while we were doing a daily trip in Sjælland on the north of Copenhagen. To start, we're gonna create a node, we're gonna press R, and we're gonna call it CST. CST stands for Color Space Transform. We're gonna go to Effects and search for Color Space Transform. This clip was recorded using my Sony a7 IV and it was in S-Log3. So we're gonna go to Input Space, find S-Log3, Input Gamma, S-Log3, and then in Color Output Space, Rec 709, and Output Gamma, Gamma 2.4. Perfect. Now we're gonna create a new node after, so we can press Option S, R again, and we're gonna call it LUT. Then we're gonna go to our LUT gallery, and then in the film look, we're gonna select Rec 709 Kodak 2383 T60. These LUTs come by default with Davinci Resolve, so you don't have to buy them. And they are a great way to start your filmic editing look because these are based already on film looks. As we can see, this is a very strong LUT, so we're gonna go to Key, move down the gain to around 0.3. Okay, that is looking so much better. Now, this image of course needs a lot of work, so we're gonna start with that. Let's move this to the bottom and then go to the CST and press Ctrl S one time, and then we do it 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. Now we have 4 nodes before our color space transform node. Now we're gonna call these nodes in the right way. We're gonna call the last one color correction, basics, softness, and grain. These are the basic node 3 that we're gonna be using on the first part of the editing. Now we're gonna go to the basics node, and in here we're gonna play with our primary wheels and the logarithmic wheels to achieve and adjust the white balance, the contrast, and the overall image looking. So for example, in here I can see that the image is really blown out according to my scopes. We're gonna lower the highlights around there. I'm gonna increase the contrast around there. That looks good. And then still is very blown out, so what we're gonna do is use the gain wheel on our basic wheels and pull it down until we reach around a 900 in our waveform. This is not exact science, but check based on your image. Okay, that is much better, but of course now the image looks so dark. The way I like to do this is to use shadows to pull this up until we recover a lot of the information that we're missing. I think there that looks super good. Now we're gonna go to the logarithmic and we're gonna play with the highlights to pull only the very bright areas of the image, just a little bit more around there. I'm gonna cool down the image just slightly, and I like how it's looking right now. So far, this is before and this is after. This is looking so good. Now, one of the main characteristics of a filmic look is, of course, the grain. So what we're gonna do now is emulate that grain digitally by going to Effects and search for Film Grain. I'm gonna drop it on the node, and then in here I like to go for a punchy look, so I'm gonna select 16 millimeters. You can play around with the parameters, but I tend to leave them as they are. One of the characteristics of the cameras nowadays is that they are very, very sharp. So what we're gonna do now is try to fix that in post. We're gonna go to our node called Softness. We're gonna go to our primaries, and then we're gonna lower this mid and detail option. I'm gonna pull around 80. And of course, now this looks awful. It's super soft and there is no definition. But wait, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna go to the node of softness, press right click, add matte, and then click in there. Now this is so much better. Look how it took out some of the sharpness added by the camera, but still remaining with a lot of detail. Now, in the color correction, I use this node basically to do any color adaptation on something that I don't like so much. In this case, I would like the green to be a little bit less yellow and more green, so I'm gonna go to hue versus hue, select this part, and I'm gonna pull this towards the green just slightly. You don't want to overdo this, because if not, your image is gonna look awful. Just around there. So all the green looks actually green and not so yellow. That looks so much better. Now, there are two things that really make a filming look more realistic, and those are halation and glow. We're gonna go to the LUT node and then press Option S 2 times, and then we're gonna call the first node halation and the second node glow. So we're gonna go again to Effects, search for halation, drop it on the halation node. On halation, we're gonna be playing around with threshold, normalization, strength, and gamma. Feel free to copy the parameters that I'm using in here, but of course you can push it as much as you want depending on your editing. So much good. Now you can see the highlight areas of the image has this yellow red glow effect that really adds to the overall image. Now we're gonna go to the glow section, search for glow, drop it on the last node, and in here we're gonna change the composite type to screen, and then we're gonna be playing with gain, spread, and threshold. I'm gonna pull this down around there. I don't want this to spread so much. That is better. And in the gain, this is super bright. I can barely see anything. So yeah, that's so much better. Look at this. So now the highlight areas of the image has like this punchy glowy effect that I really like. Now this is the basic node tree that we're gonna be using for our editing. Feel free to go around in basics and color correction to do the final touches so you can get the image that you are looking for. One last thing, in my case I can see that when I push around the white balance, the shirt on the image looks very blue. So what I did is go to the power windows, select a round mask, select it around my subject, play with my logarithmic color wheels to remove that blue tint, Now we're gonna go to tracker window and we're gonna press track forward and reverse. What this is gonna do is follow the mask so it adapts to our image. And that's it. Now we have an image looking amazing, very filmic. But to really sell this effect, what I'm gonna do is go to the editing section. I'm gonna import this 35mm matte vignetting characteristic from a camera, 35mm. And of course we can adapt this on the transform effect so it covers all the image. And now this is what we got. And now, let's say that you want to use the same kind of editing in another clip and you don't want to go through all that process because it's a little bit long. What we're gonna do is go to our clip, press right click on the image and then grab still. Now we're gonna go to the new clip, open our gallery, and on stills, we can just drop that on our image. Of course, the parameters are based on the other image that was very bright, but that's very easy to fix. We're gonna right click on basics, reset node grade. This is gonna bring the node to the default settings. And now I'm just gonna play around until I find something that I like. This image was much more balanced, so I don't need to really do much. I'm gonna delete the mask that I created. That's beautiful. And in the color correction, I'm gonna go on the curves. And I really want this green to pop up. So I'm gonna select the greens and push them up and maybe adapt it on the hue versus hue. So it looks a little bit more greenish. And that's it. Now this image is ready to be used along with the other one. Okay guys, this was all for today. This is a very basic editing, and if you are new into DaVinci Resolve, this can feel a little bit overwhelming. For that, if you'd like to save some time, you can go to my website where you can download this node tree with the exact parameters that I use in here. So you just have to drag and drop it on your next editing and you have it forever. And if you like to get for free that 35mm matte that I use on my editing, you can go just to my Instagram in here and go to the link on my description where you can download it for free. Without further more, I hope you learned something today and that you can apply it on your next editing. Until the next one, see you.